if you want to win at the money game, there are 8 key money laws that you have to master. Learning these laws will not only make you richer, but it will decide what house you can actually afford, what car you should be driving, and the big one, when you can actually retire. These 7 laws and the big master law are essential to financial freedom and building generational wealth. So let's kick things off with the first law by debunking a lie that your parents have told you. When you were a kid, you got told that money doesn't grow on trees, when in fact, it actually does. When people use this expression that money doesn't grow on trees, it's usually because they have a subconscious concern with their own personal finances, and in many cases, it's because they didn't plant their own money tree. If you can plant your own money tree, it will provide you with future fruits and dividends in the future. So if you truly want money, you have to plant a money tree. And to do that, you need to invest a portion of your income on a regular basis every single month. And after you have planted your own money tree, you need to give it time to grow, but it also needs some love and nurture, which brings me on to law number 2. There are numerous videos online about side hustles and getting new income streams, and I do agree that no millionaire has one income stream, but there is something you need to do before that, and that is you need to learn how to manage your own expenses before you even consider growing your own income. If you cannot manage $4,000 a month, you will not be able to correctly manage $40,000 a month, especially because of what I'm going to tell you in law number 5. People really do underrate the importance of managing your own personal expenses, which brings me on to law number 3, which is killing the debt monster. I read an article the other day that every 100 days, the United States is adding $1 trillion to its debt pile. This alarming figure highlights front and center a big problem within our society. Even if you live on a credit card, pay it off every single month just to collect points, you are asking for disaster at some point. One bad month, you lose your job or you miss a payment, it can lead to decades of pain. Knock down your debts as fast as humanly possible. I personally prefer the snowball method, and then use this newly freed income to plant another money tree, which brings us perfectly on to money law number 4, which is something a lot of people know about but never correctly act on. And I've seen this firsthand because it affected my own wealth in the past, and that is lifestyle creep, which is when you slowly upgrade things over time. You get the latest iPhone because your phone provider offered you an upgrade, which of course you have to pay for. You upgrade your car because it keeps breaking down. You get the latest Apple Watch because it now tells you how mindful and caring you are, whatever the hell that means. Upgrading these little things over time will compound and destroy your overall net worth. But lifestyle creep is most effective at punishing you when you get promoted at work. When you get promoted, more often than not, with human psyche, you want to reward yourself for working hard and get some benefits. That could be a Rolex, it could be a new car, or even a house upgrade you don't really need. This means that all the hard work you've put in with your employer to get a promotion, increasing your salary, is all down the drain, because your newfound income is wasted on items that you could have lived without just a couple of weeks ago. Which perfectly brings me on to a huge problem in money law number 5, and that is take the ego out of your Rolex. If you truly look at successful people, more often than not, they're not driving Lamborghinis and have a different Rolex for every single day of the month. When you go to buy something which isn't a normal purchase, I'm not talking about buying bananas, I'm talking about buying a new watch or a pair of jeans. Ask yourself this: who is the purchase actually for? Is it for your future self, or is it just for you now to satisfy your short-term ego with a tiny bit of dopamine? A great example of this is Mark Zuckerberg, who buys numerous amounts of the same boring old grey t-shirt, just so that in the morning he puts on the same thing and it's one less decision to make. But it's also great for a second reason, because it stops him buying bloody Gucci, which will help massively with the master law in money law number 8. Now, moving on to money law number 6, it is so simple, but 90% of people watching this video just won't do it. And that is to educate yourself in a correct manner. Watching videos on TikTok and even me on YouTube is not going to make you wealthy. If you truly want to be wealthy, you have to think like a wealthy person. Millionaires you see and CEOs of big corporations all have one thing in common. From Warren Buffett to Bill Gates, even Andrew Tate. All the way down the ladder, all these people do one simple thing, and that is read books and constantly learn. I'm not asking you to become a nerd and you need to read 1,000 pages a day. I'm just telling you that you should be trying to read at least one book every single month. And ideally on a passion of yours that you can eventually monetize, or even better still, on personal finance and growth. If you truly want to join the elite club and become rich, you need an elite club and rich mindset. If you feel like you don't have time, just buy a subscription for an audiobook service and listen to it on your commute to work. I do this every single day. There are no excuses not to fulfill money law number 6. Now, the next money law is something that most investors and many people around the world constantly struggle with. And that is, in times of fear and panic, they make emotionally and irrationally reckless decisions. The best time to buy a stock or an ETF is when it's at its lowest point. The problem is, you could also be at your lowest point because you bought it already and you're now down on your investment. This is why it is important to buy in regularly to your investments to grow that money tree over time. But this money rule isn't just advice for investing, it's also investing for life. If you're at work and something bad happens, or there's a problem, or somebody fucks up and fails drastically at something, see it as this. Don't complain. See every failure and every inconvenience as a potential opportunity to monetize or even get a promotion. For example, with myself, I used to spend a lot of time looking through financial statements of stocks. The data I initially wanted was only about 2% of the total financial statement, and it took a hell of a lot of time. So I created a software, Stock MVP, that gives me the data I personally want in seconds. I found a problem, I monetized it, and we now have over 6,000 paid users. This isn't a brag. This is just, I had a problem and I found a way to monetize it. All of these money laws that I've mentioned so far all lead up to one master money rule and one key aspect that you have to understand. In fact, it's actually a requirement and a belief that you must adopt if you want true financial freedom. And that is the realization that time is not money. Time, in fact, is vastly greater and more valuable than money itself. All the money you possess can be used to either take away time or generate free time in the future. Time is the most valuable aspect we are given in life, and you should be using the tool that is money to plant as many money trees as you can to buy back time in the future. When you truly understand this key money law, you will then have what it takes to move at a faster pace than anybody else you know. And if you combine this with a key money hack that you should be doing on every single payday, it will push your wealth faster and harder than ever before. So if you want to know what this payday hack is that can rocket your wealth, check this video out up here to reach financial freedom as fast as possible.